Hello there, vinyl community. It's Daniel. I'm back again with another update. I do want to start this off with saying that in the last update that I did, that I said that I wouldn't be able to make one for a while. Well, it turns out with the money that I'm making, I'm still able to, live and do stuff comfortably while buying records and still saving for the part, which I'm getting next week. And yeah, so I've been able to still buy some records. It's just been teaching me to be a little more thrifty as well. I've been checking out a lot more thrift shops, looking for a lot more bargains online. And I've gotten all these for a very fair price. So I'm really, really happy to say that because it has, because I realized I've been spending a lot on records recently as well. So it's taught me to go back to my roots before I started working, where I was checking a lot of thrift stores. So I'd like to start now with something a little different than what I normally start with. This is going to be some tapes, and only to get these out of the way. This is a UK 8-track of Holly's Greatest original. It plays just fine. It has the original pad in there, I believe, as well, which is also just fine. And really cool one to have as on tape, especially as an import. And I have two 4-tracks here, and I actually do not own a 4-track player, but these were very inexpensive, so I figured that if I do start collecting 4-tracks one day, these are great ones to start off the collection with. This first one is The Mamas and the Papas, If You Can Believe Your Eyes and Ears. And the second one is Ray Charles' Greatest Hits. So now that I have those out of the way, I'd like to go on with my normal update. And to start this off, this is an original 1992 pressing of this album I actually got just yesterday when I was trying to kill time waiting for a friend. And this is the Beastie Boys' Check Your Head. I really, really enjoyed this album much more than I thought it would because I'm not necessarily the biggest Beastie Boys fan. I haven't listened to their whole catalog, but I was absolutely blown away by how good this album is. It's probably my favorite from them at this point, and it's an original UK pressing on Grand Royal. This is absolutely a stellar album. 2-record set. And I got this for a very, very, very fair price. And here's the second disc on Grand Royal as well. Very welcome addition to the collection. And I got a new record that I got. Then I thought this reissue had only come out on colored vinyl, but it turns out it's on black vinyl as well. So I got this only because I've been wanting this on vinyl for a good amount of time now. It's Paul McCartney, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Free download code for whoever wants it, because who actually really uses those? Yeah, Chaos and Creation, great 2005 album from him, but the original vinyl pressings with the lithographs and everything go for a lot of money, so I'll gladly stick with the reissue. This is kind of like a McCartney 3 of sorts, and it's just absolutely stellar album. This is, I've heard a lot of stuff from Egypt Station. I've been seeing a lot of videos about Paul's new single, For You, and I don't think it's dirty any way, shape, or form, but it's just, I think it's honestly just a terrible song. I'm just going to be blunt with you guys. I really, really didn't enjoy it. I listened to it about 4 or 5 times, and every time I listened to it, I just enjoyed it less and less. I think that's kind of like the bottom pit of Paul McCartney's career, but then again, that's me, so I really didn't like the song. But I really do enjoy this album, so, I'm just glad that he's still making the music that he does. This I actually got for free because I had a $10 credit at my store, and this was only $10 because it's a little worn, but it played just fine. It's an original German pressing of Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits 2 by the Stones, and obviously they wanted you to cut the cover yourself. And it has a UK track listing as well, and this is a German Decca pressing. It's in pretty good condition, $10. It's not perfect, but it's not worn at all. It sounded phenomenal, and I really enjoyed now that I have the US and essentially UK track listing variants. So, welcome to the collection. This right here, I've been looking for a nice copy of this for a good long while, but I never see it with the poster, but I found this really, really clean copy of it for really cheap, so I picked it up. It's a Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, with the original fold-out die-cut cover. And it has the poster as well, which I don't really come across it with the posters too often, so that's what really made me get it, besides that it's in really, really nice condition as well. This is the poster. It has die cuts to their faces. and the reverse has lyrics. This is laid out so strangely, but here it is. And you get Emerson, Lake and Palmer down there. So really cool one to have, actually. And the disc on it is just beautiful. It has the original inner, and the disc on it looks like it's never been touched, just fresh out of the cellophane. Absolutely great condition. So very great one to have in the collection. It's not my favorite album of theirs, but it's a great album from them. This one I've been looking for a while, and this is a later 70s pressing, but I really don't mind because it's an absolutely stellar album. This is Smokin' by Humble Pie. I absolutely love this album. And it is on the white A&M label, so it's the later issue because the originals would have been on the gold one. But still, it's in nice condition. It plays really well. And I don't really see Humble Pie stuff out in the wild too often, at least where I'm at, so very welcome addition to the collection. This is the first copy I'm going to show of this, and this is a mono copy of the Mamas and the Papas' second album. It's not bad. It was in the dollar bin. The next one I'm going to show, which is going to be in a little bit though, I had gotten like 2 weeks prior to this one, and it's a special copy. But this one for a dollar bin is very nice as well, because I have it in stereo as well. So I, in total, have 3 copies of it. This was in the dollar bin. This is great condition for dollar bin right here. This is Michael Nesmith and the First National Band. Magnetic South, I always forget what it's called, but listen, this whole album, absolutely fantastic. I don't see how Joanne was a hit, because The Crippled Lion, of course, Calico Girlfriend, Hollywood, they're all absolutely fantastic songs from this album, and it's an absolutely fantastic effort from Michael Nesmith and the First National Band. I can't wait to actually find more of their stuff, because this album just blew me away. You know, I understand that, you know, he himself is, you know, a pretty well-respected musician, but for the country rock influence on here, for the stuff that he was doing with the Monkees, that some of it is on here, really makes you think how much of his stuff was rejected from them. This is now going into my heap of Sinatra albums from the dollar bin, and this is my favorite Sinatra album right here. I never find it, and I found this in the dollar bin, pretty good condition, I guess, so I picked it up. It's Frank Sinatra and the Wee Small Hours. I never really buy his 60s albums because I'm not too big of a fan of his 60s stuff, but his 50s material I really enjoy. It has the Capitol inner sleeve, and it is on the gray Capitol label. And I have some Sinatra UK pressings over here. And some of these include, this is Sinatra, UK pressing, and it's not perfect, as you could see. It has cellophane coming off, but it's, you know, for a dollar bin, I'll take it. And it has a nice polylined inner. And the disc is pretty nice as well on the gray Capitol label, before they switched to their, you know, now infamous rainbow label. And this is another absolutely great album from him as a UK pressing that I never see as well, so really glad to add this one too. This is Frank Sinatra Sings for Only the Lonely. And that has this weird style inner sleeve that, it's like an envelope, sort of, that you open the top, and inside you have this wonderful UK Sinatra pressing. And these sound very good. They sound, I wouldn't say they're excellent, because, you know, they've been played a lot, so there's a little bit of background noise on especially the This is Sinatra. It doesn't look like it's worn, but it plays like someone played it with a worn stylus. But these other ones sound pretty great. And now back to the US Sinatra for an original stereo copy of Nice and Easy. And this has the original inner sleeve as well. So those are very welcome additions to the collection. I got some more stuff right here. This is my first open record from this man, because I only have a sealed one from him that I just won't open. This is Mercy Mercy. This is Buddy Rich Band live at Caesar's Palace. This was a great recording. I listened to this whole album and it was absolutely fantastic. It's a really common album as well, so if you find it out in the wild for pretty cheap, I would highly recommend getting it. It has the original inner sleeve as well, which has seen a little bit of better days. But the disc itself plays and sounds fantastic, so that, of course, makes up for everything else. It's a Unipack style gatefold too. This is I finally have an original of this because I've always had this '80s MCA reissue, but original copy of Who's Next. It didn't have an inner when I got it, so I paired it with an original inner, and the disc on it's pretty nice for I think this was like $3-4, you know, $3 or $4. Not too bad. It played really well, and it's one of my favorite albums from the Who actually. This is still in the shrink, and it has the hype sticker on the back as well. This is Faithful by Todd Rundgren. It's embossed, and that's the hype sticker right there with the track listing. And I've been building up my Todd Rundgren collection because I didn't really have too much of his stuff before, but I'm really starting to get into Todd's stuff, so hopefully I can find a lot more of his albums and discover his artistry. Because he was a wonderful producer as well, but I haven't listened to too much of his solo stuff outside of the Nas. This album was fantastic, and I didn't know why I wasn't expecting much out of it, because I see this band all the time, but this album is absolutely fantastic, and I enjoyed it. It was Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful, and it's really not... The disc is really clean. It has the original inner, which has one of these really cool ones. I have some spares of these that, if I find any other ones, I need to pair it with, because I just love that inner sleeve. And, of course, it is on Kama Sutra Records. And it was a cutout. But, you know, I don't mind, because it sounded really great when it played. This is an upgrade for me. This is Midnight Ride by Parvir and the Raiders. Probably my favorite Raiders album, actually. Besides Indian Reservation. That album's solid, too. But this is Midnight Ride. Great album right here. Has their original version of Kicks. Of course, it has the original Steppin' Stone on it, too. Melody for an Unknown Girl, Louie Go Home, which is one of my favorites from them. This was in the dollar bin, so I figured why not, even though I see her stuff all the time. This is Linda Ronstadt's Silk Purse. I actually haven't given this a listen yet, but I do love Linda Ronstadt, so I'm anxious to put the needle on the record. Orange label, so it's a later pressing, because I think the originals of this would have been either the green or red Target label. I got this as well, and this is the only... I have 3 copies of the debut from these guys, but I don't have anything else because I never see any of the other albums, but I did find one. It's A Beautiful Day at Carnegie Hall. Haven't listened to it yet, but I want to hear the performances on here as well. And the disc on it is pretty clean, so I should probably set this aside for listening to tonight. This is my first album by this artist right here, and it has the sticker on the cover. This is the Sound of Wilson Pickett original. This is stereo, yeah, on Atlantic. And it has one of my favorite Atlantic labels, the green and blue stereo one. I've always just loved this label, just the color scheme. And these next few I actually got at a pawn shop that is near where I work. I decided to check in because their albums are only $1, and occasionally they do get in new stuff. And I did get a heap of some albums from them. This is the first one I got. This was Head East, self-titled, from I believe 78. Yeah, it has the die-cut cover, and it's actually a Canadian pressing with really, really badly off-center labels. I don't know what was going on at the pressing plant that day. This next one doesn't have a cover, but I'm aiming to get it a cover. It was inside a cover for First Base by Babe Ruth, so I picked it up anyway, but it is a Kraftwerk Computer Worlds. This one right here I've actually been looking for, and I found it as a promo copy. This is House on the Hill by Audience. Pretty good kind of artsy prog. Not too bad at all. I haven't listened to it since I got it, though, and that was almost a month ago. And it's a white label promo, and it does not have the insert, but the disc on it is really nice. And even though I already have a copy of this, I picked this up because it was only $1 as well. Cosmos Factory by CCR. I have the original inner sleeve for this that I need to find, because I know I have it, but for right now I just have it in this plain white one. So I've gone through those, and I got another stack to go through, and then some sealed finds at the end. This is starting off the first stack, though. This is the first one I'd gotten after my last update. This is an original UK 1967, I believe this came out, maybe 68. This album, and it's one of my favorite Beach Boys albums. This is Wild Honey, originally UK stereo first pressing. Very clean copy as well. Has the original inner sleeve, and the disc on it is just beautiful. Original UK Capitol label. Just doesn't get much better than this. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and I listened to this album numerous times, and it really, really grew on me. And there's some absolutely great songs on here. Country Air, I love Just Wants to See You, I loved Here Comes the Night, of course Wild Honey. But the big one off here, I believe, was Darlin'. That's not the right outer sleeve for that. And this is a Rundgren album I had gotten earlier. This is Something Anything. And it has the inserts. Here's the gatefold, which I love the gatefold on this. And it's a 2-record set. Here's the insert. It kind of folds out in a funky way, I believe. Yeah, it's a long 48 by, I guess, 12. And the backside has all the lyrics. And this album was mainly just recorded by Rundgren himself, but I think that he does have some session musicians help him on side 4. And it is on Bearsville, and it has the original inner sleeves as well. 2 record sets. Here's Papa John Creech, his first album on Grunt. And it has a lot of guest appearances on here. Just to name off a few, you got like Grace Slick, Jack Cassidy, Joey Covington, Paul Katner, Jorma Kaukonen, pretty much all the members of Jefferson Airplane, and Jerry Garcia. There's a lot of guests on here, and of course this is on Grunt Records. And pretty nice condition as well, barely played. Haven't listened to any of Papa John Creech's stuff yet, though. And this is, I believe, his 3rd album. This is just Papa John Creech and Zulu playing My Fiddle for You. And that's his backing band right there, and this is on Grunt as well, but this is on a matte Grunt label rather than the glossy one that's on the debut. This is a really clean copy of this. It has a really nice cover, but I think the disc is a little worn. This is Isaac Hayes, To Be Continued. It played just fine, but it has just a lot of surface scratches on it, and really clean cover, like I said, no seam splits. And it's on Enterprise Records. This right here is a promo copy, and this is Ballin' Jack. Their first album. This is a stellar album. I listened to this. This was a great album. Has the original inner sleeve, and the disc is pretty nice on it as well. So, up next are some thrift store finds. This is the first one, and I normally don't pick up records like this, but this actually kind of has a story to it. It just looked really interesting to me, so I got it. And I do not listen to Spanish music. I'm Spanish, but I don't speak it. I don't listen to Spanish music. I don't understand Spanish. But I got this anyway, because I'm like, oh, it looks interesting. It is Potato and Titico. And this is basically a Cuban soul album that came out in '66 that the first pressings came out on Verve, and it's rare to find the first pressings. And then it got reissued on MGM in like 1970, and this is the 1970 reissue, and it's a promo copy in really nice condition. And either way, both issues are fairly scarce. And it's a mint disc as well, and it's a Yellow Label promo copy from MGM. And I listened to it. It's I don't understand what they're saying, but the music is pretty nice. So I give it my thumbs up. So if you haven't checked it out, Potato and Titico, because Potato had a rich history in jazz. He played with like Tito Puente, Duke Ellington, Herbie Mann, just to name a few. I found this at a thrift store. And again, I normally do not listen to music like this because it is Christian rock, and I just normally don't really want to listen to Christian rock, to be honest, but this album I listened to, and I didn't know it was a Christian rock band. I just found it at a thrift store, heard of the group, and I'm like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I didn't get any impressions from this that this is religious, so this was really, really well done to where it's not, you know, kind of like beating you with the Bible. But this is Jars of Clay, Much Afraid. I found this at the thrift store, and it's an original 90s pressing, and it hasn't been reissued since the 90s. And yeah, I've heard so many good things about this album. I listened to it. It wasn't bad at all. It was a really good album, actually. So, again, if you like that sort of music, but like, you know, but you don't want to be beaten over the head with a Bible or something, go right ahead and listen to it, because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. This one doesn't have the cover as well, but I'm hoping to find it a cover as well. This is from the thrift store, Dirty Water by the Standells. Originals of this are also pretty tough to find, so even if it's just the disc, it played pretty nice. And I'll just store it with another Standells record until I get the original cover. This right here, again, Best of Dina Washington on Roulette in mono. Not a bad thrift store find at all. I didn't have any Dina Washington beforehand, and I really enjoyed this. It's pretty well played, but it sounded just good, you know. It had some background noise, but nothing that really overpowered the music. In the shrink right here, we got Jamal at the Piercing by the Ahmed Jamal Trio. This is volume 2. It's in the shrink wrap, and it is on Argo Records, which kind of looks like it'd be a subsidiary of maybe Chess or King Records, but most likely Chess, because it looks just like a Chess label. But yeah, it's in really nice condition as well, too. I listened to this, and this was pretty good jazz. I'll save this one, but like, this one is in really nice condition for a 50s record. I believe this came out either 59 or 60. This is Bristol Stomp by the Dovells. In pretty nice condition. Only has like someone's handwriting right there and a stamp on the back, but the disc is really nice. The disc looks like it hasn't even been touched. Absolutely stellar condition disc for a record made that long ago. So I'm gonna now touch base on some sealed records I got, and this is the first one while I grab the other ones. Jimmy Dorsey's Greatest Hits. This came from the thrift store. And let me reach for my other ones down here. I already had this one right here of the 20 Years of Gold series for Blue Suede Shoes, but I found another one of the series still sealed for Walk Don't Run by the Ventures. And if I could find the other two, I'm just grabbing those right now. And the other two are out. I got this one second, but it comes first in chronologically. And I showed this earlier, the Mamas and the Papas. This is an original mono copy of their second album, still sealed. And I got this for $10. Still sealed, with the price sticker. Looks brand new. So this was a great find. I love this album too. And just a fun fact for people who didn't know, Ray Manzarek is the man playing the organ on No Salt on Her Tail, the very Dylan-ish sort of tune in the beginning, but he's just not credited. And here's another Mamas and the Papas first pressing. This is the Papas and the Mamas with the original gimmick cover and the sticker still sealed. And the coolest part about this, and I'm 99% sure I won't be able to capture it on film, is you could see the original orange and black Dunhill sleeve through the little sealed crevice in it. So you know it's an original because it has the sleeve in there. Spine on it's beautiful, and just absolutely stoked to have this in the collection. And I do apologize because I know I've been talking about a contest for a while, and I'm still fully intent on doing that after I get my car repaired. And when that happens, the contest is going to actually have 2 winners, so stay tuned for that. I'll definitely make a video about that, and I do want to thank you guys for the support and care that you guys give me. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you all next time.